Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Casey and today I'm going to show you how to use this hyper tough quarter sheet palm sander from Walmart and give you a bunch of sanding tips. So let's get into it. I got this one at Walmart for about $14, so it's much less expensive than some of the other ones, the other beginner sanders on the market. They can easily run like $40 and $50. But this one is great for beginners like me, or if you're just gonna do a few projects. To start out, I'm gonna show you the different parts of the sander and the various pieces that come with it. The grip is here, and you have the on-off switch on the front to make it easy. There is a sandpaper clamp on the front and one on the back, and a clamp adjuster on either side. The other parts that come in the package are the dust bag and an adapter if you want to connect it to a vacuum hose. I don't have the adapter anymore because I don't have a vacuum hose. You'll also get a sandpaper punch, which I will show you how to use in a little bit. The first thing to do is attach the dust bag. It will be a tight fit. The next thing you'll need to use a palm sander is, of course, some sandpaper. You can buy sandpaper that's already in the quarter sheet size, or you can buy a regular size 9x11 piece of sandpaper and cut it into quarters. I got this pack of 24 sheets of various grits for about $4.50 at Walmart. The grit of sandpaper you use will depend on the kind of material you're using. The higher the number, the finer the grit. So if you're working with raw wood, you should start out with something like an 80 grit. If you have an already painted piece of wood that you're trying to sand down, I would go with a lower number like 60 or even 40. Since I have raw wood here, I am going to start with an 80 piece of 80 grit. After the 80 grit, I'll move on to 120 grit and then 220 grit. You should go through at least 3 levels of sandpaper to get a smooth enough surface to apply your finish. If you noticed, I do actually have 2 kinds of sandpaper, one with holes in it, one without holes in it. It needs the holes in it to let the sandpaper be sucked up into the vacuum so it doesn't get everywhere. You have to put the sandpaper on the sander first. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Take the clamp here, push it in and pull up and over that little tab right there, and push it all the way down, and you'll see here it's adjusting that part of the clamp right there. And then repeat that on the other side. Push in, pull up over the tab, and then push it down, and that one adjusts the one in the back. Take the sandpaper, put it under the clamp, and then take the clamp adjuster, pull it up over that tab again, and slip it right behind it. Try to make sure it's your sandpaper's on there as tight as possible. You don't want your sandpaper like this. So go ahead and pull it as tight as you can, and then slip it under the other clamp. And then take the other clamp adjuster, pull it up and over that tab, and let it rest behind it. Now remember that mine does not have holes in it, so I will need to put holes in it with the sandpaper punch. Rest the sandpaper punch on a flat, stable surface. Line up your sander with the tab here at the very front and on the left side, and then push down. You should end up with something like that. The next thing you'll need to do is put on your safety glasses and your fancy masks that everybody has these days. With the sander not touching the wood yet, go ahead and turn it on and then place it down on the wood firmly, but not too hard. If you press too hard when you're sanding, you could end up with some places sanded too much and some not sanded enough. One way to ensure that you don't sand unevenly is to make sure the sander is flat on the wood and not tip it to one side or the other. Another way is to work systematically and work left to right through your whole project, or right to left, whichever you prefer. When the sander finally makes contact with the wood, make sure to go in the direction of the grain. The grain is the pattern made by the darker parts of the wood and the lighter parts of the wood. The grain on my wood is going this way, so I don't want to sand this way. Not that I could on a piece of wood this small, but you get the idea. I'm going to be using this wood to make a blanket ladder, and that video will be up next Saturday. So subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified when it goes live. A hack that I came across when sanding something is to ensure that you sand it evenly, is to take a pencil and just draw a little bit on whatever you're sanding. That way it just gives you a visual indication of how much you've sanded in each spot. All of the pencil is now gone, so I know that I've sanded this evenly. After you sand any project, you're going to want to use a tack cloth to clean it up a little bit. You don't want whatever finish you're doing, stain or paint or anything like that. You don't want any of the sawdust getting into those finishes. So go ahead and just take a tack cloth and wipe down your project lightly. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but it's coming off on the tack cloth. And this is sticky when you first get one, so I always wear a glove when I first do it. When you're done, put them in a separate spot. Do not put them on the same table that you used for sanding. Again, you don't want any of the sawdust getting into the finish that you're going to use. Do you have any other questions about sanding? If so, like this video and leave me a comment with all your questions, and I'll help you out as much as I can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.